I was at the grocery store the other day, and I was picking up what you would expect any other guy in my position to pick up. I'm almost 39 years old. I just went through a divorce, so of course I was there picking up as much beer as I could get my hands on and a small pack of condoms. The beer, because I have to drown that existential dread of being alone in the modern world and no longer feeling sexually attractive to women under the age of 50. And the condoms, of course, because there's always that hope that I may actually get to use them someday. So, halfway between picking up the condoms and on my way to the beer, I decided to stop down the pet aisle because I have dogs, and since they haven't filed any paperwork on me yet, I assume they still love me. So I figured I'd reward them for that. So I was looking at the dog treats, and I came across a bag of duck breast strip dog treats, which struck me as odd because you don't typically use duck to feed your pets. It's kind of more of a classy type of meat. Usually it's chicken or beef or something like that, because they're cheap and to us their lives are meaningless. Because of that, we have all of these dead animals laying all over the place, or pieces of them after we've taken what we want. We grind that shit up and we feed it to the dogs. But not in this case. I mean, it wasn't even like duck parts, it was duck breast. And it was store brand, so it wasn't even like nice duck breast. So it made me wonder, like, what did the duck have to do to wind up in that position? I mean, I'm sure there's like the genetic defect ducks, and there's the ducks who've contracted some sort of disease that has made them less palatable to a human being, like, syphilitic ducks with, like, brain damage, they're going crazy like Al Capone. So they cart them off and throw them into a truck and send them off to be animal food. And, it's probably like, ducks or smoke and shit like that. But part of the reason it struck me as odd is people like ducks. I mean, you go to the park, you feed them bread, and they're cute and they quack and they do all that other fun stuff. And we have cartoon characters, like popular cartoon characters that are ducks. We had DuckTales in the 90s, Darkwing Duck. Daffy Duck is one of the most popular Looney Tunes characters, even though he's a complete dick. We have Donald Duck, who's an even bigger dick than Daffy, but of course he is, he's white. And I'm just gonna keep rolling with it this time. I'm just gonna keep rolling with it. Fuck you idiot. So, made me wonder, it's like, okay, why would these ducks wind up there? I thought, well, maybe they're criminal ducks. Because I remember that, ducks are one of the most terrible animals on earth. They don't look like it because they're so cute, and they make that cute little quacking noise, and they're adorable little ducklings and things like that, and you just want to hug them and shit, but forget all of that. They're terrible, terrible animals. They're worse than lions. And if you've ever watched a nature documentary, you know that a male lion will sneak up and murder the children of a female lion because it causes her to ovulate. Like, murdering her children is all you need to do to get her in the mood. It'd be like going over to your neighbor's house at night, killing her kids, and then coming by the next day and being like, I'm sorry, I heard your children died. But I couldn't help but notice that your labia were inflamed. Here's a rose, let's fuck. But ducks are actually worse than that. What could possibly be worse than that? Well, ducks are the rapiest animals on Earth. To the point that male and female ducks are in an arms race against each other for the males to try and force fuck the women as much as they can, and the females to stop it as much as they can. I don't know if you've ever seen a duck penis, but a duck penis is 9 inches long and shaped like a cross between a lance, like jousters use, like Heath Ledger in A Knight's Tale, crossed with a corkscrew, and is 9 inches long. Not gonna lie, I'm not that big. Almost. Not really. Um, but the dick is designed to force their way into the female duck. The girl ducks, on the other hand, have a vagina like a maze, designed specifically to block the male from being able to finish up. Now, that is like the craziest thing, because the whole point of sex in the first place is procreation. Evolution wants you to make babies, and they can move on and they can make babies and stuff like that. And they set things up to make it very easy and make you really want to do it. That's why it feels so good. But with ducks, they've actually been battling against each other, trying to make it as hard as possible. Obviously, it's not working because we still have ducks. And apparently the male strategy is working just fine because they make more ducks. But you'd think that, this is just a male and female thing, and it's terrible, and, they're just evil creatures. But it gets worse. A couple hundred years ago, there was a biologist in the Netherlands working in a greenhouse, and he heard a loud thump on one of the windows. So it scared him, so he went to go see what it was. And what he saw was a duck dead laying on the ground because it had flown into the glass and broke its neck. A short while later, another duck, both of them were male, shows up, walks over to the corpse, and proceeds to have sex with it. It wanted to rape that duck so bad that it didn't care that it was dead. The other duck was so afraid that the other guy was going to get him that it killed itself on accident trying to get away from him. That has to be like one of the most terrible things ever. So imagine you have these rape ducks that they're becoming pet food because they're like the worst of the worst. They're in this confined environment where you can breed just like any other normal animal, and it'll be cool. But no, you have these ducks that they just have to so bad that they're now on death row ducks, that are going to wind up becoming dog food. So I'm sitting there looking at the bag, and I didn't buy it because I'm not going to get my dogs rape ducks. And it suddenly occurred to me that this probably means that all of those childhood cartoon characters that we all love so much are probably just as bad. Like, that explains why Daffy Duck is such a prick to everybody, and why Donald flies into a friggin' rage at the drop of a hat, because who knows, maybe he was chemically castrated or something, but he's very frustrated for some reason. And I grew up with these characters. I mean, Daffy Duck was my favorite cartoon character when I was a kid. And then he just turns out to be this dark, menacing rapist. Speaking of Bill Cosby, he may also be a little black duck. I can just imagine him and Daffy sharing notes with one another. Tell him, no, don't force yourself on him. Give him a drink. That's my duck bit.